watching Victory Outdoors, proudly presented by Mossy Oak.
This past summer, Kurt and I spent a lot of time out at my parents' house practicing our shooting so that I would have the strength to pull my bow back comfortably and the confidence to make an ethical shot when bow season came around.
I don't know, I just figured I want Kari to shoot her bow as much as possible. You're fine. Just wait until you get warmed up.
I can't.
Keep trying. You're good.
My goal this season was to shoot my first deer. It didn't have to be a buck. I would have shot a doe, but they just weren't cooperating. We hunted just one farm, it's small. The deer don't live on it, they just travel through. And when they did walk through, they were either out of range or behind us. The morning of November 5th, Kurt and I were sitting in the stand and we saw a doe and a fawn walking towards us. Didn't take us long to figure out there was a big buck behind them.
So as these does were making their way in, I'm filming and trying to capture Kari's first hunt. And I see the buck, I'm trying to get the buck on camera, and I notice that the battery's low, super low. Huge mistake on my part that I didn't swap out the battery. It's early morning, we haven't even done an opening interview, and I'm about ready to run out of battery. I got an extra battery, but it's in my camera bag, and I'm afraid that I'm gonna screw up this hunt for her if I go after that extra battery. So the best thing I can do, the camera dies, and I immediately turn on the GoPro.
Kurt grunts at him, he starts making a rub, and then he comes towards us and he's running. And Kurt grunts at him, gets him to stop. And I had a few seconds to take a shot and I got him. Looking at my arrow, we went to town, got some breakfast, and then came back and started looking. And we looked for hours, and we weren't having much luck. Didn't have much blood to follow, and we were wondering if we were gonna find him or not. And I wasn't gonna let Kurt talk me into giving up, so we kept going.
So we've been looking for Kari's buck for several hours, and I've looked for enough deer to know that at some point in time, you just kind of have to back out and reassess the situation. She was after me. I think she felt like I was going to give up on it. I didn't have any intentions of giving up, but it was looking pretty bleak. So I started walking down this trail, looking for blood, not finding anything. And she's back, you know, on her hands and knees looking for blood where we last found blood. I make my way down, and all of a sudden I see a giant buck making a rub. I basically snuck in on this buck, and I'm about 30 yards away. He has no idea I'm there. So I've got my camera in my hand, and I decide I'm gonna try to film this joker and see if I can get as close as I can possibly get to him. All of a sudden, my phone goes ting, and this buck, he doesn't spook, he doesn't run, but he automatically picks his head up and he just steadily walks away. So I make my way over to the location where he was at, and what do I find? I walk right up on top of Kari's buck, laying there dead. Come here. Come here. Yeah. I haven't even put a camera on him yet.
I told you that he wasn't the one that you saw.
Look. Yes. Go put your hands on him. And thank goodness that other buck was standing here, because that's what got my attention. I snuck right up to him. Go get behind him.
I want to send a picture to Ian, my dad.
Oh, sweetie, I'm just so happy.
I know, me too. I was gonna cry if we didn't find him. And I never cry, so you wouldn't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, you never cry. What an amazing season. Kari's first ever bow season, her first ever deer. She had lots of opportunities earlier at does that just didn't come together. She would have liked to kill any deer, but to kill a buck like this is truly amazing. You didn't think you were going to kill something quite this big, did you?
No.
But just a stud of an Iowa whitetail, massive 8-pointer. So this fall, my main focus was for Kari to kill her first deer. I spent a ton of time filming with her. When I wasn't filming with her, I was filming with Ian. We spent a ton of time just trying to get a deer killed.
The owls are going crazy. It's Thanksgiving Day, and I've got Kari, my wife, behind the camera, and my father-in-law is hunting about in another tree stand about 100 yards away. So really, we're just kind of in here after some does. It would take a pretty big buck on this particular property for me to shoot it, but we've already taken a few really good bucks off of this property, so we're really kind of just trying to thin out the does, but we'll see what happens. If a doe presents a shot for Kari, I'll hand her her bow and she'll hand me the camera. If a doe gives me a shot, hopefully I'll kill my first archery deer of the year, so stick with us.
So early on that afternoon, we had a doe start making her way towards our stand location. And she appeared to be going behind us, so the plan was if she went behind us, I would take the shot. If she came in front of the stand, Kari would take the shot. So Kari's running the camera, and she's freehanding it. So I don't know if any of you guys have done that before, but to have somebody who's inexperienced, she did a pretty awesome job running the camera. This doe came down, presented a perfect shot. Fortunately, I made a good shot, and this deer went about 60 yards and tipped right over. Yep.
Just smoked a big doe. There's a small little 6-pointer, about a 2.5-year-old 6-pointer that come running right past her. But this doe come right down in front of us and just absolutely smoked her. So we saw her go down. We know she's dead. We're gonna go ahead and sit here until it gets a little darker because might have a buck come by yet. My Easton full metal jacket got it done. Completely coated in blood. Grim Reaper whitetail special, and she should be about 20 yards right up here because she didn't make it very far. Well, here she is, nice big Iowa doe.
fresh meat for the freezer. This is the exit wound. So it went in right behind her shoulder and exited. So she went a total of about 60 yards. Complete pass through, shooting the PSE. And now the real work begins.